The Matrix isn't just another sci-fi movie, it's a revolution. It turns a deep philosophical message into something anyone can feel and understand. Every rewatch reveals new insights, new layers, and new truths about reality itself. And for those of us who look closer, Neo's awakening isn't the only lesson. There is also another very important lesson, the lesson about the man who saw the truth and still chose to go back. Cypher, the traitor, the coward, the one everyone loves to hate. But what if I told you he's the most honest character in the entire Matrix?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Because Cypher isn't just a villain, he's a reflection of you, or at least a part of you. The part that whispers, just stop. Maybe the illusion is what you need. The part that is tempted to choose familiarity and comfort over the uncertain void of truth. We all have a Cypher inside us, and pretending you don't, or trying to fight it, only makes that part of you even stronger. In this video, we're going to expose the hidden truth about the most misunderstood man in the Matrix, and reveal that there is a Cypher inside you. Understanding your inner Cypher might be the only way to stay truly awake. An important factor to be truly awake is realizing that the most dangerous traitor is not outside. It is sitting quietly inside you, even after you've chosen the red pill, after you've escaped your version of the Matrix. There's a part of you that starts whispering, maybe ignorance really is bliss. That whisper is your inner Cypher, the part that doesn't want truth. It wants relief. Cypher couldn't bear the truth anymore. The world of the awakened one was cold, filthy, and hopeless. No sunlight, no warmth, no pleasure. He looked at the world he'd fought to see and realized, this is it? This is freedom? That's when he made his choice, to go back, to trade truth for illusion. When Cypher said ignorance is bliss, he wasn't just talking about the Matrix, he was talking about human nature itself. He saw something that most of us refuse to admit. Truth is not sustainable for most of us. You can only suffer for so long before your mind starts searching for a way out, a shortcut, a distraction, a comfortable lie. That's why people relapse into toxic relationships. Why they scroll endlessly instead of building something meaningful. Why they stay in jobs they hate, cities they despise, live a life that quietly drain them, because comfort feels safer than truth. Cypher just did what most people do every single day. He decided to go back to sleep because reality is just too much and just not worth it.
After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Cypher's story isn't just about betrayal, it's about exhaustion. To him, reality was too real and frightening. And that's the first uncomfortable truth we have to face. You can't stay awake by fighting the pain forever. Because the moment the suffering outweighs your reason to keep going, your inner Cypher takes control and drags you back to the familiar illusion you once escaped. But why does that part of you even exist? Why would your own mind sabotage your freedom? To answer that, we have to meet the real Cypher inside you, the ego. You felt it, that moment when you start doing better, and suddenly something inside you ruins it. That's not bad luck, that's Cypher, or rather, the part of you that plays both sides. Cypher didn't betray Morpheus for power. He betrayed him for familiarity. The Matrix, fake as it was, gave him something priceless: predictability. He knew what a good meal felt like, what a soft bed meant, what comfort tasted like.
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Even if it was a lie he could understand. That's how your ego works. It's an ancient mechanism built for one job: survival. It doesn't care about truth, growth, or awakening. It only cares about what it knows. And if what it knows, as best for you, is comfort, pleasure, or security, it will still cling to that. Because to the ego, even familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar peace. That's why people sabotage new opportunities. That's why they talk themselves out of chasing freedom. It's not because they don't want change. It's because change feels like death to the ego. To wake up, you have to kill that part. And that's what Cipher couldn't do. He wasn't scared of the machines. He was scared of losing himself. The illusion that made him, him. And the irony is, that's exactly what the Matrix was designed to protect. The ego's comfort zone. It feeds your need for identity, certainty, and control, while keeping you asleep. Cipher didn't fail the mission. He fulfilled it by becoming the perfect prisoner. The Cipher within you is your ego, the machine that runs on predictability. It's the part that fears the void more than the cage. And until you see it clearly, you'll keep mistaking comfort for freedom. But what happens when that comfort turns lethal? When the Cipher inside you doesn't just whisper, but betrays you? That's when the illusion strikes back. Betrayal doesn't always come from others. Sometimes it comes from the quiet voice inside, the one that says, "You deserve a break." That's how the Cipher within strikes, not with malice, but with permission. In The Matrix, Cipher cuts a deal with Agent Smith. He sits at that expensive restaurant, fork in hand, chewing a steak that isn't real, but feels real. He knows it's fake, yet he chooses it anyway. He says, "Ignorance is bliss." That line wasn't just a confession, it was a prophecy. That steak represents every small decision we make when we're tired. The moment you scroll instead of study, skip the gym, or chase quick pleasure instead of purpose. The illusion always offers the easier path, and the more you choose it, the stronger it becomes. Cipher didn't make the decision to escape reality overnight. He started plotting his escape when he stopped believing pain had meaning. Each time he swallowed disappointment, each time he envied Neo, each time he questioned whether freedom was worth it, the Cipher within grew louder, until finally he acted. And we do the same. We talk about changing our lives, but we keep the door to the Matrix slightly open, just in case reality gets too hard. That door might look like a cheat day, a break, or a temporary escape, but it's always the same deal. Every time we say just this once, we're making a quiet agreement with Agent Smith, the comfort, in exchange for forgetting. Cipher didn't betray Zion, he betrayed himself first. He looked at the truth and decided it wasn't worth the suffering. That's how every relapse begins. The Cipher within waits for you to get tired, and the moment your mind says, "I can't do this anymore," it strikes, pulling you back into the illusion you fought to escape. Betrayal isn't one big decision, it's 1,000 small ones. But here's the catch, you can't simply kill this inner traitor. Because what if I told you, he's designed to win? You can't kill the Cipher inside you. He doesn't die. You can silence him for a while, but he'll always come back, whispering when you're weakest, "Haven't you done enough?" People think willpower is the antidote to weakness. It's not. It's a temporary weapon, a battery that runs out the harder you fight. That's why no one stays disciplined forever. Because willpower isn't infinite, it's survival energy, and survival energy was never meant to defeat something built into your own mind. You can't win a war against yourself. At best, you can win battles. When you force yourself out of bed to work out, when you say no to comfort and yes to truth, that's you pushing back. That's you unplugging from the Matrix, moment by moment. Each time you resist, Cipher gets weaker, not gone, just quieter. But that silence can fool you. Because the moment reality gets unbearable, the moment you stop paying attention, he starts rebuilding. The Oracle didn't lie when she said, "Know thyself." Knowing yourself doesn't mean conquering your flaws. It means understanding how they work. Your discipline, your reasoning, your endurance, they're the tools that keep Cipher contained. But never forget, he's learning too. He studies your routines, your patterns, your excuses. He adapts, just like the Matrix does. That's why even when you're doing well, there's a voice that says, "You've earned this break." That voice is Cipher, trying to negotiate his way back into control. Discipline can win you battles against your inner Cipher, but it's not enough to end the war, because the enemy isn't out there, it's wired into you. You can only hold the line for so long before the Cipher inside you finds another way in. When most people realize no amount of willpower can silence him forever, that's where most people break. because there are limits to how much you can fight. No matter how strong you are, every fight against Cipher eventually hits the same wall: exhaustion. You can win many battles, but not all of them. Cipher isn't outside. He's the part of you that never sleeps. He knows every weakness, every shortcut, every excuse you've ever used, because he is you. That's what makes him unbeatable through force alone. You can grind for months, stay disciplined, resist every distraction. But the moment your energy fades, Cipher resurfaces with perfect timing. He knows exactly when to strike, when you're tired, lonely, or quietly questioning if any of this is worth it. That's when the whispers return. You don't have to do this. Just rest. Just stop thinking so much. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, skipping one day, one workout, one goal, and before you notice, you're back inside the matrix, doing what feels safe, what feels familiar. Because the truth is, your willpower runs on fuel, and the Cipher within knows how to drain it. He feeds on fatigue, self-doubt, and overthinking, until the truth starts feeling heavier than the lie. That's the essence of ambivalence, wanting two opposite things at once. You want freedom, but you also want peace. You want truth, but you also want comfort. And the Cipher in you exploits that tension, pulling you back toward the illusion every time you start drifting too far from safety. You can't outlast him with discipline alone. You can win the battles, yes, but eventually fatigue sets in and Cipher wins the war. Because when your energy fades, comfort always looks like truth. So if willpower fails and discipline burns out, what's left? How do you fight something that gets stronger the more you resist it? Here's the paradox. The more you try to fight Cipher, the stronger he becomes. Every ounce of resistance feeds him, because what you resist, you reinforce. Try this. Don't think about a lemon. Don't imagine its shape or its color. Don't picture the way it smells or how sour it tastes. But now, that lemon is all you can think about, right? That's how the Cipher within works. The more you tell yourself, I won't give in, the louder that part of you becomes. Because resistance keeps the illusion alive. It gives it attention, energy, focus. It keeps the matrix real inside your mind, even when you think you've escaped it. That's why people who try to suppress desire only end up obsessing over it. The dieter who can't stop thinking about food, the minimalist who secretly misses luxury, the enlightened person who still needs to prove how awakened they are. They're all fighting Cipher and losing because they don't realize he feeds on their denial. Freedom doesn't come from resisting temptation. It comes from understanding it, because you can't free yourself from something you refuse to look at. Resisting the Cipher within, denying your craving for comfort, pleasure, or illusion will always backfire. Because denial is still a form of obsession, and obsession keeps you chained to the very matrix you're trying to escape. So if resistance makes Cipher stronger, what does weaken him? The answer isn't force, it's empathy. If fighting Cipher makes him stronger, then maybe the answer isn't war. Maybe the way out is through understanding. The Matrix painted Cipher as the villain, selfish, jealous, weak. But what if he wasn't evil? What if he was just human? He didn't betray humanity because he hated truth. He did it because he missed being the human he used to be. The taste of food, the warmth of touch, the comfort of predictability. You and I do the same thing every time we reach for comfort instead of growth. It's not because we're lazy, it's because deep down, we're scared of the endless uncertainty that comes with truth. We crave predictability, order, companionship, the very things the Matrix offers in abundance. And that's the part we keep denying. We tell ourselves we're above those needs, that we've transcended. But every time we deny them, they come back louder, demanding attention. That's the Cipher within. Not evil, just misunderstood. You can't kill what's human in you. You can't destroy your need for safety or belonging without destroying yourself. So what if instead of condemning Cipher, we listened to him? What if we said, I get it. I understand why you're tired. I understand why you want comfort. That small act of empathy turns the traitor into an ally, because when you validate that part of yourself, it stops fighting for control. You take away its reason to sabotage you. Cipher doesn't need to be executed. He needs to be seen. And when you finally see him, not as the enemy, but as the scared, lonely part of you that just wants to feel understood, something changes. The war quiets down. You stop fighting your own humanity. Cipher was never your enemy. He was the part of you that wanted to protect you from pain, but went about it the wrong way. Once you empathize with him, he stops trying to pull you back. He becomes your ally. helping you build comfort inside reality, not escape it. And that's how you win, not through resistance or denial, but through understanding. Because the final step isn't killing Cipher, it's integrating him. When you integrate Cipher, you become whole. Your comfort no longer imprisons you, it supports your purpose. Your illusions no longer control you, they serve your clarity. You stop trying to escape reality and start shaping it. Because in the end, freedom isn't about leaving the cage, it's about changing what the cage means. As Neo once learned, to be free, you cannot change your cage. You have to change yourself. That's the inner truth, the only kind of awakening that lasts.